Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, whatever time you're watching. Today's Easter Sunday and we've decided that because it's sunny we would go out on the bike, and I thought at the same time I can tell you a bit about my thoughts and feelings around my Tracer.
She started out with a CBT and a dream on two wheels. She found her self-esteem from the beginner seat to full license in hand. She's a badass biker, ready to command.
So you'll have to bear with me because it's just going to be my thoughts around the bike. With it being my first big bike, I can't really compare it to much apart from the stuff that I did my training on, which was a Suzuki 650. I'd need to have a look at what model because I can't remember the model of the bike. I'll probably shove a picture up somewhere on the screen. Apart from that, I can only compare it to my 125 and then my recent purchase being the Honda CRF 250L. So my thoughts on this bike. Going back a little way, after I obtained my CBT, I was starting to think about what my bigger bike would be because I knew I didn't want to stick on a 125. I knew I wanted a bit more power, more to be able to get me out of trouble than anything. I wouldn't say I'm a speed demon. Personally, I feel I ride within my capabilities at a quick speed, but not dangerous and not over any speed limits. So I like to keep up pace, basically, and I like to be able to get myself out of trouble if it occurs. So what am I trying to say? After my CBT, we went on holiday to Tenerife. Whilst we were there, we hired a bike to basically explore around the island, and at which point, because I only had my CBT, we couldn't hire two bikes, we could only hire one. We got a nice Tracer 700 and we did that 2-up. And to be fair, the bike handled really, really lovely, really, really well. It was really nice in the twisties, it stuck to the road, it handled two full-grown adults on a bike, it didn't struggle, it was able to pick its feet up. It was, a good all-round bike. I'll put up some footage of us basically going around the roads in Tenerife. So we went up Masca, which is quite a hilly village, and there's other footage just in and around Tenerife and how the bike was handling. So that made me start thinking about the Tracer. And I'd already kind of had in my head a few bikes that I was looking at on different reviews on YouTube and things. After we had been to Tenerife, the 700 was up there. I liked the look of the bike, I liked the way that it felt. Bo was saying that he felt that it would be quite a good first big bike. So all of those factors were kind of swaying me towards the Tracer 900, or no, more the Tracer 700 at that stage. So fast forward a bit, I've done my training with RMT, Reddit's Motorcycle Training, and I was speaking to Simon, one of the instructors there, about what bike I should go for. And I'm sure they get asked those questions all the time. So he basically turned around and said, well, what are you going to use it for? It depends on what you're going to use it for as to which bike you should go for. And I said, well, I'm going to be doing mostly road stuff. I want it to be able to travel a reasonable distance because in the future I'd like to be able to go touring. I'd like to go across the continent and basically build up a few miles. So as well as touring, I obviously wanted it to be able to commute to work as well, because when the weather's nice, I do like to ride my bike to work. It makes going to work slightly more pleasurable. Spoke to Simon about that, and I said I was umming and ahhing, and I gave him the list of all the bikes that I was thinking of. And he said that he felt that the Tracer 700, although it's a brilliant bike, he felt that I would outgrow it rather quickly. He said, go and test ride a 900, see what you think. And I was saying I'm a bit worried about the weight of it, with it being a bigger bike. and I don't know if 900 is a bit extreme for a first bike. And he said, well, Jess, how do you control from a 125 to a 650? I said, well, you control it with your throttle hand. He said, exactly. It's the exact same principle with a 900. Though you've got all that power there, doesn't mean you have to use it. You know how to ride a bike. You're just mindful of that when you jump from one size engine to another. So with that advice, fast forwards after I have passed my test. I got home and I was straight on to looking at all the different bikes that I could buy today, tomorrow, next week. I wanted my bike as soon as possible. I wanted to get out. It's safe to say I was like a child at Christmas. I was looking at all different second-hand bikes because I don't have the funds to be able to buy a brand new bike. I was looking around my area at different places. We went to a few dealerships, not going to name them, but the way that they were presenting the bikes didn't inspire me with any confidence to buy from them. And I was at work one day, they had messaged me basically saying there's a Tracer 900 for sale in Stratford, which isn't too far from home. Said, I think we should go and have a look at it. And I was like, yep, sign me up. So straight after work, I went to Blade Motorcycles. Immediately got a really good impression from the dealership, from the people there. They were really welcoming. The bikes were in really good nick. The moment I saw my beauty Tracer 900, it was almost instant love. Fell in love with it instantly. And then I thought, shit, I hope I can ride this bike because it looks bloody gorgeous and I want it. But if it's too big for me, I'm going to be really disappointed that I'm going to have to then go and have a look at a 700. Spoke to the guy, Jamie, I want to say Jamie, the sales person dude. And I said, yeah, I want to test ride it. I'm really interested in buying it, but I need to test ride it. I'm not going to buy a bike blind. So the issue with only just passing your test when you go into a dealership, they like you to have so many years on your license. So there's quite a few dealerships that won't allow new riders to test ride. I can understand why. The dealerships are a bit hesitant to allow new riders to jump straight on a big bike and go whizzing round on a test ride. So spoke to Jamie and we basically did a deal that if I put down a deposit and an excess, that I would be okay to test ride, basically. So if you're interested in that video, I'll put a link somewhere on screen. I've done the test ride and I've decided that this is the bike for me, albeit okay, it's a little bit tall. I was a little bit nervous that I couldn't get a flat foot. With being a short arse, there won't be many bikes that I can flat foot. So I'd already kind of gone in thinking about what a solution would be for that. Maybe a low seat, maybe a lowering kit, which I really don't want to do because I don't want to upset the dynamics of the bike. Or maybe I could look at some boots to add a few extra inches just to give me that extra confidence that when I put my foot down on a camber, I'm at least going to be able to get part of my foot down rather than nothing at all and drop the bike, which I really didn't want to do. So yeah, bought the bike, loved the bike, felt very nervous when I first rode it, but I could tell that what Simon had said was correct. It was a big enough bike for me to grow into and not grow out of, if that makes sense. So yeah, so the review section. So what I actually think now about my bike. I've owned the bike now for about 4,000 miles. I think I've clocked up, maybe just over that, might be closer to 5. So my kind of thoughts around it, I don't do reviews, I don't do bike reviews, so this is just my thoughts and feelings and my opinion as to what things I love about it, what things have cropped up along the way of owning it. Yeah, if you've seen any of my videos, you would have noticed that we've been to Wales quite a few times, been up to Scotland, been to Wales a few times, been up to Scotland, and done lots of different terrains, I suppose, different roads, and the bike's been brilliant. I've loved it all round. I love this bike, and I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. So that's the main kind of point, is I adore my Tracer 900. So reliability, I would give it 9.5 out of 10. So the reason why it's not 10 out of 10 is when I bought the bike, the USB basically wasn't working. The USB port wasn't working. So spoke to the dealership and they said, that's fine, bring it back in, it's probably a few years, we'll get that sorted. Unfortunately, I've just not had time to take it into the dealership and get that sorted, and to be fair, it's probably an easy enough job that I could do it in the garage myself. So at some point I'll get round to fixing my USB charging port. The other problem that I've found with the bike is the indicators decided not to work when we were in Wales. But I managed to fix that straight away by pulling over. So I turned it off and on again like you do with a computer when you've got an issue, and they started working again. And they've been working ever since. So that's why I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 for reliability. Comfort on the bike, it's extremely comfortable. I can ride the bike for probably 3 hours constantly, maybe 4 hours at a push, and to be honest, I don't need to ride it any longer than that, because by that time I either need a wee, or I need to charge the camera battery or change it, or I need to have a cup of tea or a Coca-Cola or fuel. The seat is comfortable. I had to put the low seat on it and do a slight bit of adjustment on the bungs, I think you would call them, underneath the seat to bring it down low enough for me to get my feet slightly closer to the floor, but the seat's comfortable enough. I probably could add a cools cover on it, or whatever it's called, a cover on it, or like a gel or something over it to make it even more comfortable, but that would just get me further away from the floor. So for me and my fat arse, this seat is comfortable. The riding position is comfortable. I don't feel scrunched up. I feel nice and set up and looking forwards. I don't like being crunched over. When I first started riding it, I think because I was so nervous and having ridden smaller bikes, the handlebars felt really wide, really large, compared to my little 125. It felt like my hands were almost on top of each other. But I've now got used to that, and I now find it really comfortable. Also, when I was nervous at the beginning, I've got really bad wrist ache, but I think that was just because I was clenching on to the handlebars so much. But now, as I've got more confident, my grip is very, very loose, so I don't get that wrist ache. Maybe after 4 hours or so, I think I'd need a break and shake it out, but yeah, overall, it's a really comfortable position. My legs aren't too cramped up, and yeah, it's good for me. So I'm about 5 foot, I don't know, 5'6", somewhere around there, with a 30-inch inside leg measurement. And I'll probably insert a clip at some point or show you where I'm sat on the bike, and what that looks like for me, just for you guys to have a bit of an idea. Wind protection. So there is no real wind protection because of I'm open to the air basically, because I've got a small screen. I've got a aftermarket screen on it. I could put a higher screen on, but to be honest, I quite like having that open air on me. It's part of riding. It's part of what I enjoy about riding, is feeling all the elements. No, because I'm in clear air, I don't think I get buffeting. I don't know what buffeting sounds like or feels like, because I've only ever ridden bikes that are open and clean air. So it's basically like riding a naked bike with a small screen like this. I don't know, like I said, I don't do reviews. I've not ridden a bike that has a massive screen to be able to tell what it feels like without having the wind, so I can't really give an honest opinion or comparison. The tank, it's nice because it's quite wide, so it keeps the wind off of my legs a bit, but I can't really tell you much more than that. So performance on the bike, where do I start? Yeah, it has 3 different modes on the bike. It's got B, standard and A. So when I first started riding the bike, I kept it in B, which I called beginner mode, which is like rain mode basically. So the power was a bit smoother coming on. That's how I can describe it. So when you're applying the throttle, there's not a delay, but it's just a bit slower. It's less responsive in B mode, which is what you obviously want when you're in rain. What was I saying? Standard mode, which is what I ride in now. It has a nice amount of throttle, nice responsive throttle, but sorry, I just have to concentrate because I don't know where that is. That is basically just a normal responsive throttle. You put the power on, it picks up quickly, you can quickly get up to speed. I'll put the figures, the technical stuff on the screen as to how quick it can go, but basically if I'm in trouble, I know that I can pull on that throttle and I will quickly be out of trouble. The other mode is A, which is like the sport mode. I class that as aggressive mode. So the throttle on that is really snatchy. I don't know if that's such a thing, but that's how I'm going to describe it. It kind of just launches forwards. There's no smoothness around it, whereas in standard it's just nice and smooth. But yeah, in A mode it's just very snatchy, and you can quickly get yourself into a lot of trouble. So I tend to keep it in standard for that reason. Going back to when I'd first got the bike, I had somehow managed to, unbeknownst to me, change from B mode up to A mode. I jumped on the bike and thought, holy shit, I'd forgotten how to ride, I'm pulling on the throttle too fast, and yeah, it wasn't a good day. I thought I'd bought the wrong bike, I was losing my confidence, pulled over into a lay-by and then realised, oh, what a twat, I've managed to put it in A mode. So I dropped it down to B mode and I was fine after that point, and I think I actually thought, I don't need B mode anymore, I don't need beginner mode, let's try it in standard. So yeah, those are the modes. I don't know what you would class it as, when the bike kind of comes alive. I don't know what it is, but I'll put it up on the screen, what the power delivery is on the bike. But I know that when I twist the throttle, It makes a nice noise, it puts a smile on my face, and it gets me out of trouble when I need it. So performance wise, again, I give it a 10 out of 10. Love it. What's next? Handling. It handles beautifully. It sticks to the road. I don't know if that's just the bike or if that's the tyres on it, but when you're in the twisties, it handles beautifully. It encourages you to just keep leaning and keep going, and it's happy. It's in its happiest place when it's in the twisties. I'm in my happy place when I'm in the twisties. At slow speeds it feels comfortable and stable as well. At high speeds it does feel a little bit vibey, a little bit vibrations through the handlebars, but I think that might be to do with the balancing, but I'm due for a new set of tyres on this soon, like very soon, probably next week, and I'm hoping that will solve that problem after I've had that done. So when I'm saying high speed, I'm talking a spirited ride. So the next bit is the brakes. So I think these brakes are brilliant. They're very responsive. The bike does have ABS. I have felt that kick in a few times when I've been on more country roads where the surface isn't 100% brilliant conditions. So yeah, I think the brakes are brilliant. They're very responsive. I feel confident when I'm braking that they will stop me. I've noticed it more so going from this bike to the Honda 250, that if I've ridden this bike for in the week and then I've jumped onto the 250 and put the brakes on, I feel like I need to chuck an anchor out on the Honda. So I know that these are very responsive and very good brakes just from comparing them to that bike, really. I want to say that these are Brembo brakes, but again, I'd have to have a look.
No, there's something else. That's not Brembo. Nissan.
Oh god, there's lots of people. Okay, I'm gonna shut up then because I need to concentrate. Oh, is this the place?
No.
Oh.
Somewhere where I've got also like mods I've got on foot.
Oh, okay. We're on a tight time scale. Oh.
No, we get the line. Get in there. I just saw all these bikes and I thought, it looks like
Yeah. So tyres, as I said, I need to get new tyres on this because yeah, as you can see, they're getting quite low. They're almost on the limit. So I'll be sorting that out next week. So I'm currently running on Bridgestone Battle Axe. I'll put the exact tyre on screen. Yeah, the tyres are really good. So they're great on roads. They've also held up really well on lanes where it's gone a bit dodgy. So up in Scotland, I'll insert some footage here. basically up in Scotland there was a lane that we had to go down to get to the Airbnb pods that we were staying in for the wedding, but the track was literally like a farm track. It was really gravelly, really potholes. It was really not a very nice lane that if I didn't have to go down it, I wouldn't have gone down it on the Tracer. But to be fair to these tyres, they held up really well. It gave me the confidence to get down that track. So now when we're out on the roads and they're a little bit dodgy or a little bit countrified, I'm not as nervous as what I would have been if I hadn't have tackled that lane on them. They're great in the twisties as well. They're good at high speeds. So yeah, overall, they're a good tyre. You can tell that I'm a beginner rider and that I've not passed the test for that long because I clearly don't lean it over enough because of how they've worn. But I'm sure that will get even wear in time. But yeah, they've been great, and I think, to be honest, I'll probably get the exact same tyres again when I replace it next week or the week after. In the wet, they give me confidence. They stick to the road. They're good under braking in the wet as well. I think the only time that they've lost control was when I went over a bit of mossy stuff on a corner. I was on it and hitting it before I could avoid it, if that makes sense. But I think that would have happened with any tyre. But even though it slipped out, it didn't throw me off the bike or anything. So apart from that little skid, yeah, they've been great. They've handled how I expect them to handle. And I'm sure if I push the tyres, I would find the limit on them eventually, like with any tyre. But for my style of riding and for the majority of road riding that we do, as in tarmac riding that we do, these are a great tyre. I would recommend them. But that being said, I've not run with anything else, so I can't compare them to anything. But I don't know, Bo, you've ridden this bike, haven't you? What do you think about the tyres? Because you can compare it to other things, so...
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the tyre has got to keep you on the tarmac and give you confidence in various road conditions. That tyre has done that for you in everything that you've thrown at it. And when I rode it, it felt comfortable. It didn't tip over aggressively. It didn't do anything unpredictable. I felt comfortable on it, so I would definitely recommend buying those again, because you're not exactly going around a sports track. You're not going to be pushing them to the limits. The tyres are going to outperform you and I. So I'd get those again. They've been great.
Okay, what else do I need to talk about? Value for money. So I bought the bike for, it was somewhere around that mark, and it had, I think, 12,000 miles on the clock when I bought it. And I bought it July last year, and we're in, what, April now? I'd say miles for smiles is good value for money. So if I was to sell this bike, which I'm not going to do, but if I was going to sell it today, I think I would get around about the same price as what I bought it for. So it hasn't devalued much. And yeah, it's got everything that I need on it. There'll be a few things when I do finally upgrade that I would probably get as extra, and that would be cruise control, maybe a quick shifter, auto blipper. What else would I get? Maybe a heated seat, because I'm a comfort queen. For my first big bike, this has been a steal. It's been, yeah, really good value for money. So manual handling, not the strongest of women. I'm also not the weakest of women. It's a reasonably heavy bike, this bike. When it's upright and moving, it's fine. When I'm moving it around the garage, I'm moving it around when I'm at work and things in the car park, that's when I notice the weight, is when I'm pushing it around. So it's heavy, but it's manageable. And I'll probably insert a clip here of me just walking around with it, pushing it around. Final thoughts then. I adore this bike. I would buy it again. I would recommend anyone that's thinking about getting a Tracer, be it the 7 or the 900, I would definitely recommend going for a test ride. If you are a new rider and you want to have a test ride, ring up lots of different dealerships and try and find one that will allow you to test ride. Because I personally feel you need to ride a bike and not just sit on it to know if it's the right fit for you and what you want out of a bike. So in summary, I love it. I think you might love it as well, but you need to go and ride it yourself to make your own decision. And yeah, I'd also be interested to know what people think should be my next bike. So I'm not looking to buy another one at the moment, but what would people recommend as a step up or a step sideways? Is there a bike that you feel you would see me loving and riding? Chuck them in the comments. Let me know what you think, guys and girls, because yeah, I'm always open to suggestions, always open for opinions and guidance and all of that. Yeah, let me know what you think.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment down below, hit the subscribe and share amongst others. See you on the next one. Bye bye.